Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we need to talk about the beautiful game because right now it is looking incredibly ugly behind the scenes. Let's start with a mind-blowing fact. FIFA currently uses a soccer ball that is so ridiculously advanced it belongs in a sci-fi movie. This thing contains an internal inertial measurement unit, a high-tech sensor chip, that can literally detect a single strand of human hair brushing against its surface. I am not exaggerating for views here. This is literal fact. Earlier in this exact same World Cup tournament, a crucial goal was completely overturned because the microchip inside the ball registered a tiny, microscopic spike in data. Why? Because the ball had grazed the tip of a player's hair. The entire stadium, the viewers at home, nobody saw it with the naked eye. But the machine felt it. The tech was hailed as a miracle of modern sports science. So, please, someone make this make sense to me. How does that exact same piece of miracle technology look at a World Cup quarterfinal, at a moment that literally half the planet swears they saw with their own two eyes, and decide that absolutely nothing happened? Right now, as we speak, the Norwegian national team is sitting on a miserable, quiet plane ride back to Oslo. Their World Cup dream is dead. On the flip side, England is celebrating, packing their bags, and heading straight to the semi-finals. But the exact way this happened has left a massive, dark cloud hanging over the entire tournament. Every single soccer fan, pundit, and casual viewer on social media is asking the same two burning questions. Does VAR actually work at all? Or does FIFA just point the technology wherever they feel like on any given day depending on who they want to win? Let's really get into it today, break down the footage, look at the rulebook, and figure out exactly what went down in Miami. Before we scream about the referees and the technology, we have to give this actual match its due. Honestly, purely from a footballing perspective, this game was an absolute, certified classic. It was a tactical war, a drama-filled roller coaster, and it honestly deserves way better than to be remembered only for the toxic post-game argument. First of all, you have to understand the conditions these athletes were playing in. This wasn't a cool night in Europe. This was a brutal, suffocating afternoon in Miami, Florida. At kickoff, the thermometer read one thing, but once you factored in the thick, tropical Florida humidity, the real field temperature on the pitch was a roasting 113 degrees Fahrenheit. Just standing on the sidelines in a suit would make you pass out, let alone sprinting at top speed for 90+ minutes. It wasn't just a test of soccer skill, it was a pure test of physical survival. And for massive, long stretches of this match, Norway was hands down the better, sharper team. They looked comfortable in the heat, their passing lines were crisp, and they completely choked out England's midfield. The breakthrough came in the 36th minute. Andreas Schjelderup, remember the name because the kid is an absolute star, collected the ball on the wing, cut inside, and unleashed an absolute rocket of a strike. It flew through the air and beat Jordan Pickford right at his near post. An unbelievable goal. The moment that ball hit the back of the net, the entire stadium shifted. The thousands of Norwegian fans who had traveled across the Atlantic completely took over the atmosphere. They started loudly, proudly belting out, "England's going home! England's going home!" And look, you couldn't blame them for chanting it. They truly, deeply believed it. Why wouldn't they? On the pitch, Erling Haaland was a physical monster, drawing 2 and 3 defenders to him at all times, while Martin Odegaard was completely bossing the midfield, playing like an absolute maestro. Norway, playing in the first ever World Cup quarterfinal in their country's history, was just 45 short minutes away from the semi-finals of a tournament that absolutely nobody expected them to even qualify for, let alone dominate. But then, right at the stroke of halftime, Jude Bellingham happened, just like he has done all summer long for England when their backs are against the wall. We were deep into first-half stoppage time. England looked tired, frustrated, and completely out of ideas. Suddenly, Anthony Gordon found a pocket of space, turned, and slotted a sharp pass into the path of Bellingham. With a burst of pure, unadulterated power, Bellingham drove right into the 18-yard box, shrugged off a defender, and finished brilliantly with a low strike right across the face of the goalkeeper into the far corner. 1-1. It was a phenomenal, world-class goal from a world-class player. But here is the catch. That is the exact goal that this entire massive global controversy is built around. We are going to put a pin in that moment and come right back to it in a minute, because the real argument online isn't about Bellingham's finish. The finish was perfect. The argument is about what happened 30 yards away, just a few seconds before the ball ever found Anthony Gordon's feet. When the teams came back out for the second half, it became very clear that Norway wasn't intimidated by Bellingham's equalizer. The second half belonged almost entirely to the Norwegians. They completely dictated the tempo of the game. Odegaard was out there pulling all the strings in the midfield like a puppet master, finding angles that didn't even seem humanly possible. At one point, Christopher Ajer rose above everyone on a set piece and absolutely rattled the crossbar. You could hear the thud of the woodwork through the TV microphones. Minutes later, England tried to counter. Bukayo Saka whipped a dangerous cross in, and it caused total panic. The ball had to be desperately, messily scrambled right off the literal goal line by the Norwegian defense. But despite all of Norway's relentless pressure, despite all their dominance, they just could not find that second goal to kill England off. In tournament football, if you don't take your chances when you're on top, you get punished. And in the 3rd minute of extra time, Jude Bellingham punished them. Substitute Morgan Rogers picked up the ball on the edge of the area and hit a speculative, hard shot. The Norwegian keeper, Orjan Nyland, who had been solid all day, made a catastrophic mistake. He couldn't hold on to the ball. He spilled it right into the danger zone, and Bellingham, showing the instincts of a pure predatory striker, pounced on the loose ball and slammed it home into the roof of the net. The stadium exploded. That was Bellingham's 6th goal of this World Cup campaign, and his 7th goal in World Cup history overall. Think about this for a second. At just 23 years old, this kid officially blew past the legendary Sir Geoff Hurst in the England record book. Norway, down 2-1, threw absolutely everything they had left in their lungs at the game. They sent their defenders forward, they crossed the ball wildly into the box, but the tank was empty. Erling Haaland had actually been subbed off halfway through extra time because he was totally spent and physically battered. England, completely exhausted, bleeding time, and just hanging on for dear life, managed to survive the final whistle. 2-1. Semi-final spot book. Let's take a longer look at Bellingham here, because what he is doing at this tournament is genuinely historic. By scoring twice against Norway, he now has 2 separate multi-goal games in a single World Cup knockout stage. No Englishman in the history of the sport has ever pulled that off. Not Bobby Charlton, not Gary Lineker, not Wayne Rooney, not Harry Kane. He also tied the England single tournament scoring record of 6 goals. He has won the official player of the match trophy so many times this month that journalists are joking he's going to need to buy a second suitcase just to carry the silverware back to London. This is quickly turning into the World Cup of the Kane-Bellingham double act. And honestly, as the games get harder, it's looking more and more like a solo Bellingham show. He is a 23-year-old kid who just possesses this rare, unteachable genetic trait where he decides massive, historic, high-stakes games at the exact psychological moment his team is drowning. Now, none of what we say next takes a single thing away from how elite Jude Bellingham is. The debate is not about whether Bellingham is great. We all know he's a generational superstar. The debate is about the rules of soccer, fair play, and the integrity of technology. On pure footballing merit, England found a way to win an ugly game. But there are 2 very specific moments that have the entire country of Norway feeling completely robbed, and both of them are worth putting under a literal microscope. Let's dissect the big one first. The equalizer right before halftime. Go back to the tape. When the Norwegian keeper, Nyland, launched a long, high clearance up the field, the soccer ball did something incredibly weird. If you watch the wide angle, the ball is traveling on a normal, looping arc, and then suddenly, in midair, it seems to visually halt, checks its momentum, loses all its forward spin, and drops almost completely vertically straight down to the grass. It landed awkwardly right at the feet of England's Elliot Anderson, who quickly passed it to Gordon, who then set up Bellingham for the goal. The moment it happened, the Norwegian players completely stopped playing. They were absolutely positive about what caused that weird mid-air drop. They insisted, screaming and pointing, that the ball had clipped one of the heavy steel guide cables that suspends the robotic Skycam, the spider camera that hovers over the pitch to get those cool bird's-eye view shots for the TV broadcast. The exact millisecond the goal went into the net, Nyland wasn't even looking at Bellingham. He was pointing frantically up at the sky. So was Erling Haaland. So was their manager, Ståle Solbakken. Solbakken was so furious that the moment the halftime whistle blew, he didn't go to the locker room. He marched straight out to the center circle to confront referee Clement Turpin, screaming his case. Norway's assistant coach didn't hold back in the post-game press conference either, telling reporters flat out, "The referee has 4 eyes on the pitch and a booth full of tech. He absolutely should have spotted a physical object hitting the ball." Now, why does this matter so much? Is it just a petty excuse? No, because according to the official, literal IFAB laws of the game, if a soccer ball strikes an outside object, which explicitly includes low-hanging stadium roofs, drones, or overhead camera cables, that is strictly ruled as outside interference. The rules state the referee must immediately blow the whistle, stop play, nullify whatever happens next, and restart the game with a dropped ball. No goal allowed. Period. End of story. If that ball hit that wire, England's equalizer legally should have never counted, the score should have remained 1-0 to Norway, and the entire psychological momentum and history of this World Cup changes. FIFA's PR machine moved incredibly fast to shut this down. Within an hour of the final whistle, they released an official statement. They claimed that the high-tech Kinexon sensor inside the Adidas connected ball showed absolutely zero data anomalies. They literally put out a graphic showing a flat line, no spike, no heartbeat peak, while the ball was in the air. Therefore, according to FIFA's computers, there was zero technical evidence that the ball had touched an outside object. And this, right here, is where the entire situation becomes genuinely maddening for soccer purists. Because, let's remember, this is the exact same tournament where FIFA proudly bragged that their technology is so hypersensitive that it ruled out a goal because it detected a single strand of hair grazing the ball. Think about the sheer cognitive dissonance we are being asked to accept here. We are being told to believe that a microsensor is precise enough to register a soft, weightless strand of human protein hair, but somehow, through some miracle of physics, felt absolutely nothing when a pressurized soccer ball flying at 40 miles per hour smacked into a thick, rigid, tension steel camera cable? That leaves us with only 2 possible scenarios. Scenario A. The ball genuinely missed the cable, and the weird mid-air drop was just an optical illusion caused by the stadium wind or a strange spin on the ball. Or Scenario B. The tracking antennas installed around the stadium simply do not reach high enough into the rafters to read data accurately when the ball travels that close to the Skycam wires. In other words, FIFA's multi-million-dollar technology has a massive, glaring blind spot right in the sky where these incidents happen. That leaves us with only 2 possible scenarios. Scenario A. The ball genuinely missed the cable, and the weird mid-air drop was just an optical illusion caused by the stadium wind or a strange spin on the ball. Or Scenario B. The tracking antennas installed around the stadium simply do not reach high enough into the rafters to read data accurately when the ball travels that close to the Skycam wires. In other words, FIFA's multi-million-dollar technology has a massive, glaring blind spot right in the sky where these incidents happen. FIFA strongly denies this. They claim they have 16 state-of-the-art tracking antennas active under the stadium roof at all times, and they even pointed out that the actual camera footage from the Skycam didn't shake or judder at the moment of the alleged impact. But Coach Solbakken's response to FIFA's tech data was beautifully simple and deeply human. He told the media, "The ball fell straight down, vertically, right in front of my face on the bench. I have eyes. My eyes told me one thing, FIFA's computer chip told me another, and FIFA expects the whole world to just blindly trust a corporate machine over our own human sight." Now, if the camera cable incident was the only controversial thing that happened during the match, you could honestly just chalk it up to bad luck, a weird freak of nature, or a tough sporting break. But what makes this a genuine scandal is what happened next. When you take that cable incident and you stack it right next to what happened just 10 minutes into the second half, the contrast looks incredibly damning. Norway won a corner kick. The ball was whipped into the box. It was a total dogfight in the 6-yard area, and Torbjorn Heggem managed to rise above his marker and turn the ball beautifully into the back of the net. 2-1 to Norway. The Norwegian bench emptied, the players sprinted to the corner flag, and the stadium erupted into total bedlam. But then, the dreaded video assistant referee stepped in. The main ref got the signal in his earpiece to delay the restart. After a lengthy, agonizing review, VAR pulled the goal back and completely disallowed it. The reason? They ruled that Erling Haaland had committed a foul on England's Elliot Anderson by giving him a push during the crowded build-up to the corner. Now, let's be totally fair and look at the replay objectively. It was a push. Haaland clearly extends his arms and gives Anderson a two-handed shove to create space for himself. And if you look at the incredibly strict, zero-tolerance stance that FIFA instructed its referees to take on jersey tugging, holding, and grappling at set pieces during this specific tournament, you can absolutely find a legal justification in the rulebook to chalk that goal off. The foul itself isn't what's causing soccer fans to lose their minds. The problem is the glaring, hypocritical contrast between how those two plays were handled by the officials. Haralabos Vulgaris, a famous professional sports data analyst and professional sports team owner, summarized the entire global frustration perfectly in a single post on social media. He pointed out the absurdity of the situation. A minor, routine upper body push, the exact kind of physical contact that happens on literally every single corner kick in every single professional soccer match around the world, gets forensically reviewed frame by frame, zoomed in, slowed down, and ultimately used to overturn a massive World Cup goal. Meanwhile, at the other end of the pitch, a literal piece of stadium equipment apparently alters the entire physical flight of the ball right before an England goal, and the refs just wave their hands and say, "Play on," without even bothering to look at a single replay angle. There it is. That is the entire scandal wrapped up in one single sentence. Think about the psychological choice the VAR officials made in this game. They chose to go deep-sea diving into a chaotic corner kick, hunting for contact that happens 20 times a match, just to find a technicality to wipe out a Norway goal. But when a ball visibly deflected in mid-air right before an England equalizer, VAR didn't even bother to take 10 seconds to check the sky camera angle. One end of the pitch got a high-powered microscope, the other end got a blindfold, and as several prominent sports journalists pointed out after the match, this isn't an isolated incident for England this summer. This is now the second time in this specific tournament that England has had a massive, game-defining, tournament-saving moment swing their way under highly questionable officiating circumstances. The true, underlying issue here isn't actually about whether Haaland pushed someone or whether a metal cable got clipped. The issue is that nobody, not the coaches, not the players, not the experts, and certainly not the fans watching at home, can predict from 1 minute to the next when VAR is going to intervene with a microscope, and when it's just going to shrug its shoulders and ignore something obvious. And a system that is completely unpredictable is a system that is fundamentally impossible to trust. But look, I want to take a step back for a minute and breathe. Because I don't want to just sell you a cheap narrative about a massive corporate robbery if it wasn't actually one. If we want to be real journalists here, we have to look at the defense. Realistically, if you isolate both of these refereeing decisions and look at them strictly by the letter of the law, they are both technically defensible. First, FIFA's internal ball chip genuinely did read zero contact. Those chips are engineered by German tech firms and tested millions of times. They are stupidly, incredibly accurate. There is a very real, scientifically plausible chance that the ball never actually touched that wire, and the fast, high-pressure, chaotic environment of a World Cup match simply caused the Norwegian players' eyes to play tricks on them. Furthermore, the Athletics' resident refereeing expert, Graham Scott, made an incredibly fair and realistic point about how the VAR booth operates under pressure. He explained that a VAR official sitting in a dark room with dozens of screens isn't going to naturally think to scan a wide camera angle way up in the stadium rafters while they are actively tracking a fast-developing, ground-level attacking play. Referees are under intense, constant pressure from FIFA executives not to be so overly analytical that they end up ruining the flow of entertainment and inventing problems to disallow perfectly good goals. And let's not forget the Haaland incident. The rules are the rules. He used his hands, and he shoved a defender. You commit a foul in the box, you risk losing the goal. Plus, England fans have every right to shout from the rooftops that Jude Bellingham's goals were pure moments of individual world-class brilliance that had nothing to do with referees. The game-winning goal in extra time came because Norway's own goalkeeper made a technical error and spilled a routine, savable shot right into the box. That error had absolutely nothing to do with a camera cable or a bad referee. Bellingham has undeniably been the most dominant, clutch player at this World Cup by a country mile, and England, for all their tactical flaws and internal team struggles, simply kept finding a tactical way to win matches. Even Erling Haaland himself, who had every right in the world to be completely bitter and furious when talking to the press after the final whistle, completely refused to cry about a conspiracy or a robbery. He showed incredible sportsmanship. He told reporters it was just a tough, 50-50 decision that didn't go their way on the day, and he generously added that England is a fantastic, deeply talented side that knows how to win. Norway's manager, Solbakken, echoed that exact sentiment, saying he could sit around in the press room and cry about the refs all night, but he wasn't going to do it. When the actual victims of the decisions are being that incredibly gracious and mature in a heartbreaking defeat, we as fans should probably be careful about screaming louder and getting more offended than they are. There is also one crucial, quiet detail from the match that completely demolishes the popular internet theory that the referees were explicitly bribed or trying to favor England all night long. The technology actually went against England in a massive way late in the game too. Deep into the closing stages of regular time, England thought they had won a game-winning penalty kick. Jed Spence made a brilliant, overlapping run into the box and went tumbling down to the grass under a heavy challenge from Norway's Oscar Bob. The referee, Turpin, had a clear view of it and pointed straight to the penalty spot. England fans were already celebrating, but then the VAR booth intervened again. They called Turpin over to the pitchside monitor, forced him to review the contact from 3 different angles, and ultimately convinced him to completely overturn his own penalty decision. Think about that. That is a massive, monumental decision taken away from England in the dying minutes of a high-stakes World Cup knockout match. If there was a grand conspiracy by FIFA to protect England and ensure they made the semi-finals for TV ratings, that penalty kick never gets overturned. So, if you look at the entire 120-minute picture objectively, this isn't a story about a corrupt referee intentionally bending the rules to force a specific outcome. It's a story about a referee and a VAR crew making a string of highly debatable, inconsistent calls that randomly scattered in completely different directions. This isn't the story of a corporate fix. It's the story of pure, unadulterated human chaos. But here is the real bottom line, And this is the exact part that FIFA executives cannot wiggle out of or escape from. This isn't about one specific country getting special favoritism. I'm not going to sit here on this channel and tell you that FIFA desperately wanted England to advance over Norway because of market size or shirt sales. There is zero concrete evidence of that, and honestly, that's just the lazy, clickbait version of this story. The real problem facing modern soccer is much more basic, much more systemic, and frankly, way more embarrassing for the sport's governing body. The truth is, FIFA simply does not know how to run its own high-tech officiating system with any shred of consistent logic. They have marketed and sold this technology to billions of fans around the world as the ultimate tool that removes all human error, all bias, and all doubt from the game. They brag about the ball that can feel a single strand of hair. They show off the automated limb tracking cameras that can measure an offside position down to the exact millimeter. But then, in the biggest, most watched moments on the world stage, that exact same multi-million-dollar system detects a hair in one match, yet completely fails to tell you if a soccer ball smacked into a giant steel cable in another. It overturns a beautiful goal for a routine, everyday push in the box, but completely refuses to even review a mid-air deflection that completely changes the momentum of a quarterfinal match. The machine itself isn't rigged. The problem is that the human beings who are in charge of deciding when to turn the machine on, the refs who decide when to dig deep into the video frames and when to just wave play on, have absolutely no uniform standard that anyone can comprehend. The technology didn't fail Norway. The human judgment and protocol surrounding the technology failed them. And this controversy lands in the absolute worst possible tournament for FIFA, because their global credibility was already completely in tatters long before they ever stepped foot in Miami this summer. Let's be honest, this has been an incredibly messy, controversial World Cup across the board. This is the exact same tournament where we saw Folarin Balogun's red card completely, bizarrely wiped away after an official apparently made a phone call during the game. It's the same tournament where the Egyptian Football Association filed an official, bitter complaint accusing the refereeing committee of blatant injustice, and where Briel Embolo's highly controversial dismissal completely killed Switzerland's tournament run. We have seen massive, game-defining VAR drama in what feels like every single match this summer. So, when this whole Skycam cable saga lands right on top of that massive, growing pile of officiating mistakes, people don't look at it as an isolated bit of bad luck. They look at it, roll their eyes and say, "Here we go again. FIFA is messing up another tournament." You can see that exact, deep-rooted frustration in the immediate post-game reactions from the families of the players. Erling Haaland's own father, the former professional player Alfie Haaland, took to social media right after the match and posted a very sarcastic, pointed little message that said, "Well done to Bellingham, and well done to the referee." That single tweet tells you everything you need to know about the toxic reputation FIFA has built for itself brick by brick this summer. They have created an environment where the technology is world-class, but the human application of it is a literal coin flip. Because of that systemic failure, even when a referee makes a perfectly valid, legally correct, defensible decision, it is immediately met with universal eye rolls, anger, and instant accusations of a conspiracy. FIFA earned that global distrust. Nobody handed it to them. They built it through years of inconsistency. By the way, there is a version of this story where the global reaction would have been completely nuclear. If that weird camera cable goal had helped a team like Real Madrid or a host nation go through, half of the internet would already be launching petitions claiming that FIFA hung the wire there on purpose to rig the match. But the boring, more honest truth here isn't a grand, cinematic conspiracy. It's just classic, old-fashioned human incompetence dressed up as high-tech precision. Norway didn't lose to a secret plot hatched in a dark boardroom. They lost to a great performance by Jude Bellingham, a costly bit of leaking goalkeeping from their own keeper, and an officiating system so wildly inconsistent that you can't even rely on it to be wrong in the same direction twice in a row.